We are joined by Senator Roger Marshall from the great state of Kansas. Senator, here in person with us. You look professional, which is good because you're a senator. We're radio hosts, so this is how we roll. Sorry about that. But let's just first start with day one RNC. Here you are. It feels different, doesn't it?
Well, it really does. And I want you to know that I drive a Dodge pickup. And I have a Dodge pickup and usually have a 12-gauge shotgun in the back for hunting purposes as well. How's it feel? I've never seen the Republican Party so unified. And this is my first convention. I think that many of us feel like we're making history, that President Trump was divinely protected Saturday night. And you know, what's next for this country? I've never seen so many people just uniting, people that were on the fence saying, I'm in, I'm all in. What a fighter we have in Donald Trump. So I'm just honored to be here.
Speaking of Donald Trump, as you were about to come on the set with us, you're standing talking to me, your phone rings, it's President Trump. You literally were talking to him 3 or 4 minutes ago. What can you tell us about that call, or is it top secret?
Well, I think most importantly is that he's doing good. I think he's very, very grateful, and certainly realizes this divine providence as spared his life, and that he has a special purpose out here. He reminds me of King David from the Old Testament, that he has a heart for God and he wants to do the right thing. And of course, I'm not going to talk about the vice president thing, but maybe that came up.
Maybe just a little bit, yeah.
Do you know, even if you won't tell us, do you know who the vice presidential nominee is?
I do not know for sure.
I like how I'm the one with an interrogation background, but Clay can't wait. He jumps right into it. He wants to know.
We might have
right
somebody
away.
sitting right here on the set who knows.
So what are you hoping this week accomplishes for the party? I mean, how do you expect the messaging to go? Because, you know, look, let's be honest, given what just happened, and you mentioned divine providence, I said too, I'm not somebody who throws the term miracle around very much, but I have enough familiarity with firearms and tactical situations to know that it was a miracle that Donald Trump was okay. Still a massive security lapse and a failure, but it is a miracle that he's fine. Given that, people could see this as an opportunity to be very angry, very partisan, or an opportunity to rise above and bring the country together. How do you think the president, or I should say the former president and hopefully future president, can do that?
Yeah. So unity, unity, unity. I think that is the message that we're going to be talking about here. And I think the writing's on the wall. We walk in here, the platform's done. It's simple, 20 simple bullet points. We focus on the policies, on securing the border, removing a lot of illegal aliens out of the country. We focus on the economy. How do we get rid of inflation? Well, we do that through driving down, cutting regulations and cutting taxes and balancing the budget. So I think there's a message of unity here. Republicans, like it or not, we all do have an opinion. And it's hard for us to come together. And I think America sees that. But I really do feel that this week you're going to see a message of unity out of the entire party. It's great to see some other people coming on board to speak tonight as well. So we're all in.
You were one of the first people to raise issues about Joe Biden's mental and physical decline
You're a
and
doctor.
his issues. You are a physician. Mm-hmm. What do you see observing him? And is it in your mind reckless to be arguing, as Democrats are, that he could serve for another 4.5 years as president of the United States based on what you observe?
Yeah. Heaven forbid if Joe Biden gets reelected, it's really a vote for Kamala Harris. You don't have to be a doctor to see this huge decline that we're seeing. And once you kind of fall off that cliff, it's really a rapid descent. I think that we're seeing it in his speech, but where I really see it is his physical abilities. Look, a person with Parkinson's, what they do is they have this real a shuffle when they walk. And even today, now Joe Biden is walking when his toes hit the ground first, rather than his heels hit the ground first. So that's a big difference from last year. He's holding his arms even closer to himself, so there's not much movement in his arms. He has bradykinesia, very slow movements, and then he freezes, right? But we don't know what his cognitive function is like, but the onus is upon him. He could prove that to us. I think we've seen from his debate performances, even from his press conferences since then, that there's a huge cognitive lapse going on.
Hey, Doc, what should the GOP do about healthcare going forward? I'm just going to give you a simple one. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Let's go ahead and
we'll
solve
ask
it
you
for
about
us.
sports teams in a few minutes, but for now, how do we fix that?
Well, so you want to talk about the Chiefs' chance of repeating. No, really. So I came to Congress, so I'm not only a physician, I helped run a hospital, I've overseen health departments, anything that promotes transparency innovation and consumerism will drive down the cost of healthcare. It's the cost of healthcare that's the problem. Most people like their doctor, they like their hospital. It's the cost of it. So anything we can do to make healthcare more transparent, to promote innovation. If you want me to save Medicare, I need a drug for Alzheimer's, that type of thing. And then consumerism is letting patients be consumers again. Right now, when I would see a patient and say, look, you need a surgery, the first thing they ask me, does Medicare cover this? Does my insurance cover it? If it does, great. But there was never a thought about, well, how much is it going to cost? So we need to make patients consumers again. Would love to come back and talk about prescription drug prices and the impact that pharmacy benefit managers have on that. 3 of them controlling about 90% of the industry. And they take 50 cents of every dollar.
Can Trump fix it? If he has unified government, can Trump make big strides to do more so that we actually see healthcare costs going down? This used to be, as you know, the primary political issue. Then Joe Biden decided to blow up the whole border and make it so that, 10 million illegals have come in. So that's gone to the front, but healthcare is still a big deal.
Right. So first of all, President Trump did some things to fix it. One thing he did, he issued an executive order that hospitals had to be more transparent with their prices and their costs, something that I asked him to do. So I think the answer is yes. It won't be easy. Is this a $4 or $5 trillion industry? They have an incredible lobby. It's part of that swamp in D.C. I'm not sure which is bigger, the Department of Defense, people that lobby them, or the healthcare. So it is a lot of dollars going by.
Last question for you. Do you expect to see the vice president introduced tonight? And what would you like to hear from the vice presidential candidate if we do get that introduction tonight?
Right. I expect an announcement any moment now. Within the next few hours, I expect him to be introduced this evening. I want to hear a message of unity. At the same time, I go back and think of other vice president candidates we had out there, is that they do need to defend the president's policies, and they need to be the face of taking on some of those tough issues out there as well. I want it to be someone that truly embraces what we're hearing from Americans, that they want to secure the border. They want the price of gas and groceries to come down.
And just real quick, your Kansas City Chiefs will win again next year. Is that what's going to happen? Or I should say, well, yeah, next year. It'd be January. Isn't that when the Super Bowl happens, Clay?
February, but close.
Yeah.
We just introduced Mitch Holtis as the Kansan of the Year at our big society meeting. He's all in. He thinks that he sees that special motivation. And you know what he said the secret sauce was? The great players he's ever met are humble. And he sees that humbleness in Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce and Coach Reed as well.
I say that about radio hosts, but Clay doesn't agree.
Humbleness.
Senator, thank you for giving us the time. I noticed, by the way, I'm not the CIA guy, but you said he when the vice president gets introduced, which makes me think maybe you do know who's coming.
Sorry.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, everybody.